Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box, where today I want to take us way back to around about 2008. There was a great recession, there was a presidential election, MTV was over, and all of that. MySpace had given way to Facebook, and it's kind of a bland time when you really look back on it. But something interesting was happening on the internet because YouTube was in its infancy. It was an independently run company. It was something that no one really over 30 had ever heard of it. But various interesting trends that actually originated from even more underground places like 4chan, they were working their way up to YouTube, just as YouTube was sort of slowly stalking its way into the hearts of mainstream entertainment and information consumers. And one interesting phenomenon at this time that you don't really see much anymore, but you might see some references to it occasionally, was the phenomenon of so-called Rick rolling. It got so big that Family Guy did a whole thing on it. And this was sort of it was sort of people teasing the idea of clickbait. So you'd be presented with a salacious headline, monkey goes out on a date with Angelina Jolie, horse parachutes from a plane, think of the most crazy headlines. I mean, some of them were a bit more realistic, Bush and Obama decide to fondly embrace themselves outside the UN building, stupid, crazy crap like that. And instead of seeing the fake story, which was obviously fake, you would see a short clip of the video for Rick Astley's popular late 80s song, Never Gonna Give You Up, the deep voice and the very cheesy post-elect, New Jack City style production of the late 80s and early 90s. He's a good singer, don't get me wrong, a very good singer, in fact. But because the song was kind of over the top in its corniness, sorry, Rick, it became a meme. Now, why is this important on a music channel? Well, it shows that meme culture and the internet culture at which meme culture is the epicenter helped to revive a lot of music that had long been forgotten. Not many people in 2008 were listening to this song, but people became aware of the song or people became refamiliarized with the song because of this trend. And this sort of set off a whole thing about where clips or even entire songs from previous generations became memes. And as a result, youngsters became familiar with the music. Now, one of the best examples is from a few years back when we're now way closer to the present day, where there was this guy on a skateboard drinking some soda or something with a selfie stick, listening to Dreams by Fleetwood Mac from their Rumors album. Now, on the surface of it, if you were someone who was around when Fleetwood Mac's Rumors came out, you wouldn't find this video particularly interesting. But it became interesting because it introduced an entirely new generation to a popular Fleetwood Mac song. And so all of a sudden, the biggest band of the late 70s, early 80s were now big in 2020 something, whenever it was, a couple years ago, 3 years ago. And it even helped then, I think Rumors shot back up on the streaming charts. And that sort of set off a kind of Fleetwood Mac revival where now apparently people on TikTok, young people on TikTok, are doing videos about the strange cocaine-fueled love affairs within Fleetwood Mac, which is something that, everyone knew in 1981 and seven, but now young people are sort of rediscovering this sort of Shakespearean, neo-Shakespearean melodrama, and in so doing, they're rediscovering the music, which is really interesting. And that's just one example. There's many other examples, and I think that a lot of this culture goes back to the whole Rickrolling thing, taking something that was big in its era, but that was mostly left behind by young audiences, resurrecting it as a meme or as a joke or as a reference point, and all of a sudden it re-enters pop culture. It re-enters the popular consciousness. So while Rick Rowling was stupid and annoying to some, it actually signaled something that has been very good for artists whose day was yesterday, according to the pop charts, which just goes to show you when people are left to their own devices, they'll do things that are far more creative and even far more intriguing than the record labels, who, for a long time before, even long before they fell off the deep end post Napster, they'd been too conservative, too buttoned down, too distrusting of their audience. When you let people do what they want, they do interesting things. And hopefully they'll continue to do so. As always, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.